In the previous video, we discussed that sustainable development is centered around the human well-being. And we have to be honest enough to say that eventually human well-being is in direct correlation with the level of consumption. This correlation can be seen as eternal interrelation between human, economic, and natural capitals. And when we view consumption as the main component of human well-being, it represents the satisfaction that individuals gain from using goods and services and focus on their ability to obtain commodities. In the previous video, we also learned about the capital stock model, which promotes the efficient utilization of economic, natural, and human capitals to produce valuable goods and services, and create the social capital by promoting freedom of expression, cultural diversity, spiritual values, and social cohesion through participating and empowerment. The synergy between these four pillars is a crucial aspect of achieving sustainable development. In other words, sustainable development is only possible when there is a harmonious balance between human and natural resources, which can be achieved when social capital is effectively enabled. The Brundtland definition of sustainability that we discussed in one of the videos accessible through the provided link defines sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. And rather than reiterating and discussing this or other definitions, I invite you to consider them from a different perspective. These definitions, if you think thoroughly, introduce multidimensional view, time dimension and the space dimension. The time dimension refers to the impact of decisions made now on future generations, while space dimension recognizes that nature and human capital do not adhere to borders. Understanding these two dimensions is crucial for delving into topics such as sustainable accounting, financing, and economics. Therefore, let us take some time to analyze these dimensions. Let's start with the temporal dimension of sustainable development, or what we call now versus later, that is described in this slide. From an intergenerational perspective, sustainable development is defined as development that ensures a level of human well-being for future generations that is at least equal to the current level. This requires maintaining a stable per capita stock of wealth, which can be achieved by either living solely of the dividends generated by efficient interrelation between capital stock components, or by replenishing any consumed capital element. This approach will allow the next generation to meet their needs and maintain their level of well-being. Nevertheless, there is no guarantee that future generations will manage their resources sustainably, as they have the freedom to choose their own development strategy. But on the other hand, to be fair, advancements in technology and social organization could lead to more efficient use of resources. Therefore, the best way to assess whether our society is on sustainable path is by monitoring the volume of assets and ensuring that resources are being preserved for future generations. Simply put, our actions and decisions today have a lasting impact on the future and we may not have the opportunity to correct them if the future turns out to be not as bright as our present. Now, let's talk about the spatial dimension of sustainable development, or what we can call here versus elsewhere. This concept is a useful tool for analyzing the transboundary impacts of sustainable development and evaluating the extent to which countries influence each other in their effort to ensure the well-being of their own populations. When a nation focuses on developing its own well-being model, it can use its own resources, but in the same time import others from different countries, as it is rare for a nation to have all necessary resources within its own borders. And therefore, it is crucial to consider the international transfers of various types of capital and how economic activities in one country can affect capital of other countries during the exchange of products and services. Additionally, the well-being of a country's population can be affected not only by imports and exports of economic capital, but also by the movement of human capital. And this emphasizes the importance of international flows of skills in the well-being of both source and destination countries involved in the movement. Analyzing the two dimensions reveals the impossibility of a single nation achieving sustainable development on its own. It is inconceivable for a single country or even an entire continent to do so in isolation. This highlights the necessity for a globally recognized and unified system of measurements, indicators, evaluation mechanisms, and others similar to those used to regulate global markets or standardize communication networks. Experts and scientists all over the world worked deliberately to modify the old set of measurements and indicator systems or create new ones, just to enable governments to accurately evaluate the well-being of the society. And the next series of videos will talk about them in details. But I thought it is better, before delving into the results of their efforts, to examine those old sets of measurements and indicator systems and identify their weaknesses. Because this is better, from my perspective, to appreciate the importance and value of the new systems in supporting sustainable development decision making. And that's exactly what we are going to do in the next video.